This time we call the regular meeting of the Cole County Board of Education for April 27th, 2017 to order. We'll ask Lieutenant Commander Shane Metz and Lieutenant Santana Rockington, Coffee High School, to be ready to lead us to the American flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I wish I could take credit for this prayer, but this prayer was actually given over 400 years ago by Francis Drake. Let's bow our heads. Lord, disturb us when we are too pleased with ourselves, when our dreams have come true because we have dreamed too little, when we've arrived safely because we've sailed too close to the shore. Lord, disturb us when the abundance of things we possess, we have lost most of our thirst for the waters of life. Having fallen in love with life, we have ceased to dream of eternity. And in our efforts to build a new earth, we have allowed our vision of heaven to be dim. Disturb us, Lord, to dare more boldly, to venture on wider seas, where storms will show your mastery, where losing sight of land, we shall find the stars. We ask you to push back the horizon of our hopes and to push back the future in strength, courage, hope, and love. This we ask in the name of our captain, who is Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. This time, Mr. Chairman, we will move forward with adoption of the agenda. We have the agenda that's been presented and advertised this meeting tonight, and so we have our agenda here. The board approve this agenda.
Need a motion?
Make a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
Motion, Mr. Miller, second. Preston, favor?
All right, purpose and direction. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We've got a lot of parents and students and community members. Thank you for coming, and we're excited about honoring everybody that's here and a special group that's here tonight with us. And while this is a night to honor, it's also still a night, I think, that we all want to respect the loss of Mr. Johnson and pay respects, and we appreciate you being here, Ms. Johnson. And thank you. So all who are here, welcome, and we'll move forward with our meeting. But before we do that, we always like to reflect on our mission and our vision as a school system. Our mission is destination graduation for college, career, and life. And our vision is an equitable and an excellent education for every student. So that's what we focus on as a school system. And we've been doing something over the last few meetings. We've had our schools prepare a video clip that they feel like exemplifies our mission and vision as a school system. So tonight we have a video from County Middle School to share with everybody that's here and our viewers at home that exemplifies our mission and vision. So sit back and enjoy the video from County Middle School.
At CMS, we'll focus on our mission of destination graduation for college, career, and life, and we work towards graduation every day in our academic classes.
The middle school concept is based on developmentally and academically appropriate guidelines for children during the transition between elementary school and high school.
The mission of A Middle School is to empower and inspire all students to apply the knowledge, skills, and attitudes necessary to become creative problem solvers, to achieve personal success, and to contribute responsibly to our diverse and diametric world.
My name is Kayla Martinez, and I'm currently a 7th grader at Coffee Middle School. Coffee Middle School is one of the largest middle schools in the state, with almost 1,700 students. 1/3 of these students are in extracurricular activities, which can vary from athletics to career and service clubs. We serve 2,100 meals a day between breakfast and lunch. We also have 42 buses, which approximately 2/3 of our students at our school ride.
And I'm Lily. We are 6th graders at CMS. We come to CMS as mere babes, and we leave with just 4 years of adulthood. There's a lot of learning and growing that we do here at CMS. And most of it is done in our extracurricular activities, such as clubs, sports, and connections. And I will show you some of these curriculums that we do here at CMS.
And this is Hannah, and we are part of CMS Agricultural Education. We've learned so many things in these classes that have easily become our favorites.
We've learned about the growth development, how to take care of plants.
We've also learned about the safety and how to avoid woodworking.
There are so many different careers in agriculture, it's not just farming.
It's veterinarians,
Florists,
teachers,
biologists,
loggers,
cooks,
agribusinessmen,
and so many more.
so maybe you should think about agriculture for your future.
Jackson.
My name is Jake.
And this is the Billy Walker Agricultural Center located on Coffee Middle School campus. This part of the building is going to be used for storing the animals for showing purposes for anyone in Coffee County who is enrolled in schools.
Inside the building, there's a arena for showing the animals and pins to hold them.
We have learned how to run, operate, and manage our school store in our business and computer science class. We have learned the skills needed to run a school store, which are communication skills, employability skills, work ethics, and entrepreneurship.
I'm Cambria in 8th grade.
And I'm Nat in 7th grade at Coffee Middle School.
In our art classes, we had units to study about careers in art, such as design, textile photography, sketching, painting, and sculpture.
Then we get to create our own art in each medium. After learning these skills, we have the opportunity to practice and create our own piece.
I'm so thankful that I've had the opportunity to be in art class and learn these skills.
And get to know other kids with a passion such as ours.
Historical council to me is just giving you get kind of thing. You give so much to the students, the elderly, the Mary Hayes Center, you give to the Boys and Girls Club, and then in return you get a reward, you get to go on trips, you get food, you go on different types of things. So it's really a community service to your students throughout the school. You get their advice on things and then you transmit it to the adults, and it's really a group effort.
Hi. Hello. I'm Lyndon in 7th grade, and this is my best friend, Saren. I'm Saren, and we are in SCCLA. Today we're excited to talk all about SCCLA. In this club, you will discover how to become an empowering individual, how to build a supportive family, and also how to work as a team to strengthen our community. SCCLA teaches important skills that we can not only use in our future, but also can apply in daily life. And remember to say yes to SCCLA. Remember, if you have any questions, be sure to ask Ms. Blankenship. By the way, she's awesome. This is Lyndon and Saren signing off from CMS SCCLA.
I think about connections, I, for one, believe that it is one of the many exciting things that Coffee Middle School has to offer. My passion for inventions and innovations came from the exposure of the technology connection. This class introduced me to TSA, which I am currently the president and compete in every year. This connection has so much to offer, including interaction with new people, technology, and so much more. I really enjoy our CMS connection because we are creative and innovative.
Christy.
And Daniela.
Students who are willing to work hard enough can use music as a clear path doing what they love. Advanced students are some of the smartest students in school.
Music lasts forever and it's something that you can always do and no one can take it away from you.
Music can be a lifesaver and it can give you a purpose.
Band is like a second family because we are connected to music.
It is a safe place to make friends and to be yourself.
Join us in CMS band program.
Prepared that video for us. That was fantastic. All right, we'll move forward with our agenda. At this time, under governance and leadership, we have a special recognition from our General Assembly. We have State Representative Dominic LaRicchia here with us tonight, and at this time, we want to honor Mr. Ronnie Johnson and present his family with a proclamation. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. LaRicchia, State Representative, and he will make a presentation.
I do. Thank you, Dr. Lees. And first, I just want to say some thank yous to everybody. Y'all heard me say this thousands of times probably, that I have the privilege of serving the best district in the state. And the reason I can say that is because I serve the best people in the state. And our school board, superintendent, central office, our principals, teachers, and everyone who's committed most of their life to educating the next generation. I just can't say thank you enough for what they do. They make my job easy, having the opportunity to serve for you, but I always like to start by saying thank you. But importantly tonight is Mr. Ronnie Johnson. He was no exception to that. I wanted to just say a personal comment and then I'll read the resolution, but y'all know that we were in the process of working on some things for our Coffee County School Board, and Mr. Ronnie Johnson was a big part of that. For years, Mr. Ronnie would come to me and we would talk about some of the things that we're working on. And I am, I guess, honored really to say that one of the promises that we made to Mr. Johnson was fulfilled before he passed on. But he was a tireless, committed worker for what was best for this school system and for the people of this community. And I would be coming home from Atlanta, it would be 8 o'clock at night, and my phone would ring and he'd say, hey, Representative, he wanted to tell me something or wanted to ask me something. And when I would see his number pop up, I would always get a little bit nervous because, boy, he would really let you have it. But when you see his empty chair sitting there, Dr. Lees and board members, what comes to my mind is we've got a void to fill. And it's going to be a tough one to fill, particularly on behalf of the people that entrusted him to serve them, and he did such a good job. But we did a resolution honoring the life and memory of our board member, Ronnie Johnson, and it is the least that we can do to honor him and present this to the family and to the board and to the school system. So if you don't mind, I'm going to just read this resolution, and then I will give it to the family if they want to come up or whatever. After I read it, that's fine. But again, thank you all for what you do. But this is a resolution honoring the life and memory of Mr. Ronnie Johnson. And whereas the state of Georgia mourns the loss of one of its most distinguished citizens with the passing of Ronnie Johnson, and whereas Ronnie dedicated innumerable hours of his time, talents, and energy toward the betterment of his community and state, as evidenced by his service with the Coffee County Board of Education since January the 1st, 1999. And whereas Ronnie served with honor and distinction as a school board member, and his vision and unyielding commitment to Coffee County has set the standard for community service. And whereas he gave inspiration to many through his high ideals, morals, and deep concern for his fellow citizens, and the devotion, patience, and understanding he demonstrated to his family, friends were admired by others. And whereas he was a person of magnanimous strengths, with an unimpeachable reputation for integrity, intelligence, fairness, and kindness, and by the example he made of his life, he made this world a better place in which to live. And whereas a compassionate and generous man, Ronnie will long be remembered for his love of family and friendship, and will be missed by all who had the great fortune of knowing him. Now therefore it be resolved by the Georgia General Assembly that the members of this body join in honoring the life and memory of Ronnie Johnson and express their deepest and most sincere regret at his passing. Be it further resolved that the Clerk of the House of the Representatives and Senate is authorized and directed to make an appropriate copy of this resolution available for distribution to the family of Ronnie Johnson. It was an honor to do this for you, but again, I just want to say to the family and to those that are listening, when leaders like this pass on, somebody has to step up.
One, two. Take one more. One, two.
We're going to carry on with our meeting, but I do want to say thank you for being here to Mr. Johnson's family, Amy, Chelsea, Rodney, Oscar, everybody that's here. Thank y'all for being here, and Dominic is certainly right. Big shoes to fill, big boy, without him. We've talked about all that before, so I'm not going to rehash all of it, but we loved him and continue to love him and miss him, and we're going to carry on. So anyway, at this time, I'm going to call up our Boys and Girls Club director is here, and we're going to celebrate tonight with an accomplishment of one of our students here in Coffee County who has made a tremendous effort to represent our community, not only statewide, but nationwide. And at this time, I'm going to call up Miss Judy Artist, the director of the Boys and Girls Club, to present a special student here at Coffee County Schools. So, Miss Artist.
Oh my goodness. It's always an honor and a privilege to be invited to the school board meeting, because that means something is going right. The partnership is working, and we so value, on behalf of the board of directors and myself, we value the partnership that we have with Coffee County School System. So thank you. Tonight, I'm really excited to share a little news with our whole community. We have a young lady who has won the 2016 and 2017 Youth of the Year competition for Coffee County Boys and Girls Club. To date, she has already won over $15,000 in college scholarship and will represent Coffee County as well as the entire state of Georgia in June at a competition to win an additional $40,000 in college scholarship. When she wins, because God's going to do it, when she wins, she will have the honor and privilege to go to the White House and meet the president and compete for an additional $100,000 in scholarship. The Boys and Girls Club of Coffee County has been just a little bit beyond 2 years, so to have a student excel at this level is tremendous. We're still learning, we're still growing, and we continue to need community support, community dollars in order to complete the mission that we're trying to accomplish, and that is to present great futures for our kids in our community. So without further ado, I'd like to present our 2017 State of Georgia Youth of the Year winner, Ms. Charnay Pegues.
It is such an honor to represent Coffee County as the Youth of the Year for the Boys and Girls Club, as well as the state of Georgia as the Youth of the Year. I do want to thank my wonderful family for their love and guidance throughout this whole entire process. And I thank the CEO, Ms. Judy Artis, and my teen advisor, Ms. Karen Graves, and all the Boys and Girls Club staff for pushing me and helping me use my gifts to inspire other youth. I thank the school system, the Coffee County school system, and the teachers for pushing me academically and through mentoring. They've been a very big part of my success, and for that I'm eternally grateful. I thank the School Board of Education for all of their support and encouragement to continue to be an inspiring role model in this community. And lastly, I thank God. I thank Him for His love and support and for blessing me with this wonderful opportunity as being the Youth of the Year for the Boys and Girls Club of Coffee County region. I thank Him for letting me know that He's always there with me through anything. I thank Him for speaking through me as I speak to other youth when I inspire them to go out and reach their full potential. I thank you all for what you all do. I thank you so much for the love and support and encouragement. It means a lot, and I'm very honored to represent the Boys and Girls Club of Coffee County region. Thank you.
It may not sound like a big deal, but it really is. I mean, when you can beat children from Atlanta that have been doing this a lot longer, I just want us to understand the pride that we should feel with this young lady. And as you can see, she's very eloquent, and we know that she would do well. But once again, we need your support. We will be selling banners that say, "Send Charnay to the White House." So if there are any businesses that would like to hang the banner in support of her so that we can feel the love and she can feel the love and encouragement from our county as she take on Mississippi, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida. Thank you.
Our next recognition is CTAE National Winners.
Obviously, I'm not Brad Reiner, but I am thrilled to be here tonight representing Brad, our CTAE director. He is emceeing Dancing with the Stars tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, so they have dress rehearsal tonight, so he could not be here. So I'm thrilled that he's asked me to introduce our teachers and students. The teachers and students that are being recognized this evening are from Coffee Middle School, George Washington Carver Freshman Campus, and Coffee High School. And our family and consumer science teachers that we're going to recognize sponsor the Career Tech student organization called FCCLA, and they're going to tell you more about what that acronym means. These teachers spend many hours after school, weekends, during the summer, working with their students, taking them out of town on competitions, practices. They travel to compete in star events at the region and state level to qualify for nationals. And you know, Mr. Reiner's been here several times this year, recognizing our students that are going to national competition. So tonight you're going to meet some more that are going to national competition, as well as these students have earned scholarships and region and state office positions for FCCLA. So I am so pleased to introduce our teachers, and then they in turn will introduce the students that we're going to recognize this evening. And from Coffee Middle School, Ms. Tara Carver couldn't be with us tonight, but it's for a good reason, because she just had a baby. She had, as they said, their new CTAE family member. Rowan Ellis Carver was born on April 7th, and she and her husband Michael are adjusting to parenthood, so she'll be back soon. But from George Washington Carver Freshman Campus, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Jewel Ross, if she'll come forward, and from Coffee High School, Mrs. Renee Robertson and Mrs. Lee Roberts. Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm speaking for Miss Blankenship Carver. The kids still call her Blankenship, but she's really Carver. She had to get that name changed before that baby was born, so that was done. We kept joking with her. She just kept leaving it. She didn't care. And her husband said he didn't care either. So Rowan is my new grandson, because in FCCL everybody thought Tara was my daughter. So I've just kind of adopted him in, and he is precious. Blessed if you haven't seen the pictures on Facebook or seen him in real life, and he has a head full of blonde hair. He is so pretty. Haven't really gotten to sugar yet because he's so little yet. I got to let him grow up a little bit so I can get that. But I'm going to do her middle school kids. First we have Miss Emma Wilkerson. If you'll come forward, please. And we have Miss Abby J. Carter. These two young ladies competed in the Illustrated Talk project, and they got first place at state, and they're headed to national competition. We're so excited for them. We start them real young like this, so when they get to us, they know what they're doing. We don't have to worry about it.
Good evening. I'm Jewel Ross from the freshman campus, and I would like to introduce to you Lindsay Morris. She competed as a 9th grader in the event called Interpersonal Communication, and she also received first place and was invited to attend the national meeting also.
Good evening. I'm the shortest and the best. I'm proud to introduce our students. They are excited to go to nationals in Nashville. I have to say this before I forget it. Zay Moffitt won a scholarship while we were at state. It's the Janet Inez Murray Scholarship. So we're very proud of him, as well as he's going to compete in FCCLA website. Addie Gilliard and Morgan True compete in promote and publicize. If I get it out. Caroline Wilson and Andrew Steptoe are competing in chapter and review display. And we thought we saw Andrew come in, but we must not have. And last, Mario Nunez will compete in teach and train.
He's in my teaching pathway classes. He really wants to be a teacher, y'all, and he's really good at it.
We have one more young lady who's doing fashion construction, which is something new for us because we've never been able to do that through the state. Her name is Sue Haley Garcia. So,
I have the privilege of introducing to you two young ladies that are going to be running the state FCCLA this coming year. Miss Avery Hurst, if you'll come in, please. She's the newly elected first vice president. We almost got president, but we first vice president. And then we have Miss Lindsay Morris, who is our Region 8 officer for this year. So these two young ladies will be planning and organizing all of our state events in the next coming year. So they've got a lot up on their shoulders. They've got a lot to do for all the thousands of people that will be coming to those events. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lease, members of the board. It's my pleasure to be a part of the next recognitions, and these are our system Young Author winners. The Young Authors competition is initiated at the state level, and we begin by each school turns in a winning entry from each grade level at their school. They're submitted to the system. At that point, system level winners are chosen. And then system level winners are sent on to our Okefenokee RISA district for competition there. And the RISA winners are sent on to the state level. So it's a process, and I'm proud to begin introducing tonight our system level winners. And I'll start with 11th grade from Coffee High School under the direction of teacher Melody Williams, Aurelie Martinez. The name of Aurelie's writing was Parallels. And if you'll just stay up here, we'll introduce everybody. Our 10th grade winner could not be with us tonight from Coffee High School under Melody Williams also, Andrew Steptoe. And Andrew's piece was called How Reason Dies.
He has a good reason for not being here. He's playing solo right now in the jazz concert.
Okay, I knew that, Ms. Steptoe. I apologize, I didn't see you back there.
No, that's fine.
Great job.
Our 9th grade winner from George Washington Carter Freshman Campus under teacher Simona Lacosta Watts, Lindsay Morris. The name of Lindsay's writing was Rest in Peace, Susan Brown. Rest in Peace, maybe that's a typo, I think. Okay. 8th grade from Coffee Middle School under the direction of teacher Amanda Wiles, we have Sarah Sweat. And Sarah's writing is entitled Too Bad to Be True. Our next winner from Coffee Middle School, 7th grade, under teacher Denise Steptoe is Miss Jessie Hutchison. Jessie's writing was My Practically Perfect Life. All of these pieces were so good and so fun to read. It's really amazing what our students can do. The 6th grade winner from Coffee Middle School, Nevia Robertson, and I'm not sure if she came in. And her teacher's Miss Cheryl Skipper. And her writing was entitled Alma. Our 5th grade winner was from Satilla Elementary, under teacher Maggie Metters, Madison Jones. Madison's writing was entitled In the Rage of a Hurricane. Our 4th grade winner from Broxton Mary Hayes Elementary, teacher Benita Hart, is Ed Chateau. And his writing was entitled The Evil Mask. Our 3rd grade winner comes from Ambrose Elementary, teacher Angie Bussell, Miss Emmy Cole. And Emmy's writing was titled The Worst Pet Imaginable. I've had one of those. Our 2nd grade winner comes from Broxton Mary Hayes Elementary, teacher Miss Sonia Daniels. This goes to Kaylee Sykes. Casey's writing was The Cursed Snow Globe. And then our 1st grade winner comes also from Broxton Mary Hayes Elementary, under Miss Claire Braswell, Taylor McKinnon. And Taylor's writing was called Fishing. Our kindergarten winner comes from Indian Creek, under the direction of Miss Tracy Sears, his teacher, Cole Deans. I have to tell you that Cole's piece was called Timmy the Tornado, and he's going to get another award, but I wanted to read it. It's just to take a second to read his paper to you. You don't mind, Cole? He says, this is a story about Timmy the Tornado. Timmy is dark and gray and spins around really fast. Timmy can knock down power lines and turn off the power to every house. He is a L5 tornado that can damage a good-built house. He is the worst tornado. Timmy can bring up almost anything. Never open windows when he is outside. Timmy the Tornado is so dangerous that you need to get inside and get in a bathtub or a closet. You need to get away from glass. If Timmy comes to school, you need to rush out of the class to the hall and cover your head. Tornado Alley is where up to 500 tornadoes can be, and Timmy the Tornado can come any time of the year. He is big and bad and can destroy everything in his path. Tornadoes are cool looking, but they are really bad. Always be careful when Timmy is outside. Not only did Cole win the system award for kindergarten, we submitted all of these winners at the system level on to the Okefenokee-Risa district, and we learned a few days ago that Cole also won for the Risa district. And then today, this is a surprise to everyone in the room, Cole, you won at the state level. Get in the order that we were in out there. If you remember where you were standing, we need to take one more picture. So we're so proud of all of these. Okay, if you guys will get in front. Remember how you stood out front? There you go. Just step to that.
wait.
Everybody's taking pictures. Let's give another hand to our young
What a wonderful meeting. Risa riding winners and a state champion. That's great. Fantastic. At this time, we want to recognize one of our principals in one of our schools for excellence in education and excellence in parent involvement. Of course, we have our parent-teacher conference days, and we encourage all of our parents and all of our schools to try to get all the parents there and try to get 100% participation. But tonight we want to recognize Coffee Middle School and Miss Sherry Berry for reaching Congratulations. Yes, ma'am.
I just told Tamara I'm just to go eat that.
That's what they are.
That's tasty.
And Miss Berry, if you look at the chart that we put on the screen at Coffee Middle School, if you go back to 2011, you'll see that they had 64% in the fall and 68% in the spring of parents attending these conferences. And then you see each year it's gotten better. And this year for FY17, you see on the far right, we had 98% participation in the fall and 100% participation for these parent conferences throughout the year in the spring. So we're really excited about the parent involvement going on in Coffee Middle School and the number of conferences that have been held. That's the key, is parent involvement. Parents communicating with teachers and teachers communicating with parents. So thank you, Ms. Berry, and thank you to the staff of Coffee Middle School. So thank you. At this time, we'll move forward with our special, our consent agenda. We've finished our special recognitions, and we'll continue with our consent agenda. The first item on our consent agenda, before I start this with, in honor of Mr. Johnson, he always encouraged me to make sure I explain the consent agenda. The consent agenda is an agenda that was put together in our work session, and we talked through all these items in the work session, and the board had a chance to tell us how they felt about them, and if there was some debate or whatnot, it goes on in the work session. And if all of the board members agree with an item, then we place it on the consent agenda. So all the items that you see on this consent agenda have been agreed to approve by the board members. So all four, and when Mr. Johnson was with it, it was all 5 board members would approve for these items to be placed on the consent agenda. So that's how the consent agenda works. And we have our minutes from last month's board meeting on the consent agenda for approval tonight. We have our monthly financial report on the consent agenda to be approved tonight. Mr. Drehush, can you tell us what our month-ending fund balance is?
Yes, sir. Our fund balance ending March 31, 2017 was $11,588,423.45.
Thank you. Our out-of-state travel, we have 2 out-of-state travel trips. CTA group is going to compete in Nashville, Tennessee. One of the groups that was just here this evening, their sponsor will be taking them. And then also our Coffee High School TSA, that's the technology group, will be going to Orlando for a competition. Frontline, this is a software package that we're going to purchase using grant funds, using the Strive and Reader funds. This will be used so that our teachers can sign up for professional leave and our administrators can approve that leave, and then we also will have some professional training that will be prescribed using this program. So we're able to purchase this with grant funds, the Strive and Reader grant fund, and we think this will help us operate much more efficiently. We won't have to pass as much paper around. Right now we have to fill out these paper forms and it has to be signed by 3 different people. This will all be done through computer once we purchase this. Textbook resources, we are adopting social science, social studies, and science textbooks for the high school, and these books total $370,103.20. So that is being requested to purchase for our secondary schools, our middle and high schools, but this is high schools. Is that correct, Dr. Evans?
That's right.
All right. And then we have student handbooks. Dr. Banks has been working with the principals on the handbooks, and he has presented to the board several times, multiple times now. He's presented the drafts of the handbooks, and he has gone over the changes and the edits to the handbooks with the board, and the board has agreed to approve the handbooks as presented by Dr. Banks tonight. And then the Performing Arts Center. This is the bid for the Performing Arts Center. The board is approving the low bid from Jones Construction Company to build the Performing Arts Center at Coffee High School, and that total amount is $10,580,000 for the construction of the new Performing Arts Center at Coffee High School. These items have all been placed on the consent agenda, and the board will take a vote on approving the consent agenda.
Need a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Mr. Miller? Second. Mr. Preston? Any discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have no need for an executive session. If it so pleases the board, I would ask the board to approve the personnel recommendations as presented at the work session.
Need a motion to approve the recommendation?
I'll make a motion to executive as those presented.
Mr. Miller, Mr. Preston? All in favor?
All right, we have board member comments. Board members, do you have any comments to share tonight?
I just appreciate so much the Mr. Johnson's family coming out, Rodney, Mr. Paul, Mr. Brock, Mamie, Chelsea, all y'all. Think about him every day. A lot of work up here tonight. It's on this board. Mr. Johnson helped with all the planning. The Performing Arts Center wouldn't be here without his efforts, along with the board at the time, to get that SPLOST passed and those plans made. So it's a really exciting time for our young people. And you saw the academic achievements of the young people tonight that Mr. Johnson pushed for so much. So I'm saddened about the circumstances, but really proud of what your father, your husband, your brother accomplished in his time up here. I really have enjoyed serving with him the amount of time I did.
I just say one time, it's all about the kids.
All right. Is that all? Well, thank you for being here tonight. Johnson family, I do have one announcement before we proceed, but I did want to thank everybody for being here tonight before I proceed with our announcement. I recommend on May 9th, 4 o'clock, the Board of Education hold a called meeting at which all persons who timely indicated their interest to be considered for the District 1 board seat be given an opportunity to present their desire to be considered by the board for appointment. Any person seeking to fill this vacant seat should attend this meeting and be prepared to address the board. And once again, that meeting will be May 9th at 4 o'clock here at the Board of Education office.
Those ones go timely indicated.
That timely indicated their interest to be considered from the District 1 Board.
No. Yeah, quick question. Will that be published newspaper or our website?
We will get this out. We will send it out through the normal means of which is our local newspaper and our website and the ways we typically advertise for a call board meeting. So.
Name? Ethan Jones.